Sound. No sound, don't hear anything. Okay, let's start again. Okay, now do we have sound? Let's take a look. Okay, now it's okay. So let's do it again. So as I was saying, and you were not listening because the audio was not turned on, I had forgotten. This Good. This is the first time we're doing a webinar like this, which is partially live with an audience. And so I'm here in Pituba, in Salvador, for the Google in Action, which starts 10 minutes after this presentation ends. And we have the webinar happening today. So that's why I'm here, that's why they're there, and I think it's a good learning opportunity for everyone here. Right? So I'm getting used with all the tech. When I looked at this side, it means that I'm checking things that, for the webinar. If I'm looking here, it's because of the presentation. Okay, so the camera is right here in the middle. I'll try to remember to look here. So I'm very happy that everybody is here. So I hope now it's okay. So I can hear Thiago mentioning, Viviane, etc., that things are working. Good. So let's get started. Okay, so now I'm switching to my slide deck. That's okay. So this presentation is part of a series on how to. So we're going to have one per month. And this month we are looking at Quizlet, a fantastic tool to work with vocabulary and even with other pieces of language, some parts with some things with grammar. And if you want to find my list, you just search Ivan Ajimura. That's my handle pretty much in all social media and in Quizlet as well. So, and just people ask, but what does this mean, Quizlet? And I learned from the founder that he was taking French classes. So he had these small quizzes. So the teacher called that Quizlet. And that's where he got the name. So that's why. So just a bit of a curiosity on why Quizlet. And don't forget to attend. Okay. If you are watching this on your smartphone, please don't click. It doesn't work. And Wesley is at the headquarters. He's going to send the link on the chat box. And please don't click, because if you are on a cell phone, you're going to be redirected out of the video. And then you miss on some of the content. If you're at a computer, just open this on a separate web page and it's going to work. But if you're on a mobile device, please don't do that, all right? And we're sending this to you a little bit later. So for those of you who are unable to attend right now, that's okay, don't worry. We'll find a way to give you this link later, okay? And just a bit of data on me as a Quizlet user. So I've been using Quizlet for more than 4 years now, so since February 2015. And last year I became an ambassador of Quizlet, so I get things a little bit in advance from them. So the new things, the updates, etc. I give them some feedback, and I join with other ambassadors to get ideas, to get ways to use it. So, and then I come here and I try to replicate this. So that's me, and I have almost 250 sets. I think since the last time, since I wrote this, I probably created one or two, so I might have already gone over 250. And I love some of the games we're going to play live today, hopefully, if we have the time. And I have used Quizlet for a number of things. So to learn and to teach with the sales team, to help the secretaries learn the names of the books, the pronunciation of the books, like straightforward. It's a terrible name for an elementary book for the reception teams and for the learners. So that they are able to pronounce it more consistently, for example. To train teachers, just like we're doing now, and some of the other initiatives I have used Quizlet. and to memorize people's names. So I sometimes I put the photo and the name so that I can try to remember this. But this is a struggle for me. Okay. Hello, Mario. Okay. Hello, Anderson. Lots of people joining. Good at the end. Fantastic. So, and this is our roadmap. What we're going to do in the next hour. So I'm going to discuss with you why working with this and why this is relevant to our practice. This is not a new pedagogical use. We're just changing the tool because we feel that there is more. There are more things to do, so there are more possibilities. But pedagogically speaking, there is nothing new actually. But it's good to review. And then I'm going to explain why we decided to go with Quizlet and not anything else. And then we're going to get to the how. So how we get started, how we do things in Quizlet, and what do I do with the list. So how do I play, or do I just create a list? No, so I'm going to show you some activities. And in the end, as a bonus, as a fun activity, we're going to play a round of Quizlet Live, which is, if you love Kahoot, you're going to love this much more. This is a much more pedagogical way of doing something similar that students like, very interactive, but in a more pedagogically sound way. Okay. And just as a reminder, the whys are always more important than the hows. Because the hows, you can rewatch the video, you can watch a tutorial. I have a lot of quick videos on how to do this, how to do that, and I'm going to give you the playlist later. So if you're unable to follow the steps, oh, this was too quick, that's okay. This video is going to be available later, and you can rewatch the steps, pause, do things, and you can get the how-to videos so that you can so that you can follow and do it yourself. Okay, so don't worry if this is too quick, if some of it's hard to follow. All right, especially in the how area. And with this in mind, let's start with the whys, right? Like I said, Quizlet is a tool. This is the mission, right? This was written by the founder of Quizlet, by Andrew, and he says that it's to help students practice and master. And I find this distinction very important, that he doesn't want to make Quizlet a tool where people learn stuff for the first time. He doesn't think that this is the platform for this. There are LMSs like Moodle, like Google Classroom. There is the school, so we have the classes, the teachers, or you have a number of ways in which you can do this, in which you can study or learn things for the first time. But then when you need to practice, memorize, and master something that you have already been exposed to, that's when Quizlet comes in. And this is at the core, because I don't want you to start using Quizlet for the wrong purposes and starting pre-teaching vocabulary with Quizlet, for example. That's going to be terrible, because it's hard to set the context with a list, with a list of items, and students are not going to know why they're learning that and what they have to do with this. So this is a post-explanation moment. Okay. If you have any questions, you can look at you can send us a message in the chat box, okay? And I'll try to follow the best way possible. I'm putting on play here so that I can follow the chat box. Good. Is it working, guys? Yes. Yes? Okay. It's good to have an audience, yeah. Thank you. Let's continue. Another important piece of theory is the forgetting curve. It's something that it's so simple, it's so intuitive, but sometimes we forget, and then we expect students to do better than what their brains are capable of doing. So you see that the time here, this is the time. There is no numbers here. It doesn't really matter. And this is the retention. And well, if I haven't been taught something, I probably don't know. But when I learn something, like immediately after I learn something, I probably remember it. I probably can explain a little bit, and over time, I start to forget. And if nothing is done, if there is no additional input, I forget everything, or pretty much everything. Like I remember almost zero of what has been taught. So I need some review. So I need to look at it again. I need to see this again so that I retain more. And then I start to forget again. But I'll probably forget less. But I need to actively retrieve it again and again and again until a point in which, in the long run, my retention is better. And I think this makes sense, right? If you look at what you've been taught and the things that have been explained to you or that you had tried to remember, if you've seen it only once, you've probably forgotten and you needed more time. You needed to retrieve it a number of times to memorize something. And this is one of the most important uses of Quizlet. So that's why I want to show it here to you guys. Okay. You are awfully silent in the chat. Nobody's saying anything. So I hope you're all following. And if you have any questions, just send me the questions. Okay. This is something that I would like to tell you. In Cultura Inglesa, students can access their vocabulary list during the last test of the year, of the semester, sorry. And when we started moving away, the people who are a little bit, who've been with us a little bit longer, remember that we had another app called Lexical Book. And people who have been even longer than that know that even before the app, students were encouraged to create their lists and use their lists in the compositions. And with these lists, they could use in the final test. So it started with the paper and then moved on to the app. And one thing I want to clarify is that the medium is not important. So they can have the list in paper, they can have their list in the computer, that's a little bit harder to access, but their choice. They can have their list in any app they want, so they can use a Google Slides, an Excel file, Quizlet, or any other flashcard app, and they can use this for CA2. Okay, so that's why I wanted to pause and make this very clear to everybody. So they should have, so we encourage them to have their personal list, regardless of the medium. It's a good practice. They personalize the vocabulary, they choose the vocabulary that they want to keep, and they have access to this on CA2, regardless of their chosen medium. All right? And just to stress this, Quizlet app is okay, Lexical Book app is okay, Excel is okay, Google Sheets is okay. Literally any other app is okay, as if they have the list there, their vocabulary there. Literal flashcards, if they have the pieces of paper, if they have that, that's fine. I have never seen in the last 5 years anybody have them, but that's fine too. Or if they have a list on the back of the notebook, if they have their list like a word definition or word example or sentence example, that's also fine. Just to let them be, let them have their flashcards, let them use their vocabulary in CA2, okay? So CA2 meaning the writing test. Yes, if you're separating, Renato is asking me this here in the chat box. The CA2 contains the writing test, and in some cases we separate, so we have the CA2 and the writing separately, and sometimes you have to do everything at once. So ideally they're using this only for the writing. Yes, so I know it's harder to monitor if you're doing this all together. But if you're doing it separately, only for the writing. Yes, thank you for the wording clarification, Renato, Gabriela. Can they use a quilt? I don't know this app, Lucia, But if they can put their vocabulary there and some sort of definition, yes. Mhm. And just an image from last year. This was, I think, my first presentation at Cultura Inglesa, in which we decided to phase out Lexicalbook in favor of Quizlet. So for the people who have been with us for longer, Quizlet has replaced Lexicalbook. Lexicalbook has been phased out. So the concept of having a personal vocabulary list is still active, and it has been for, I think, 20 years or more at Cultura Inglesa. Because remember this, as a student. So just let them have it. Let them have the list. Medium is not important. We're just picking a better medium than we used to have, and maybe in the future we're going to see that maybe 3 years from now some other player comes and we see that this is better than Quizlet. We might decide to switch and start recommending students something different and not Quizlet, because Quizlet is not part of our organization. It's an app. It's a company that produces that produces the system. So we don't need to be the owner of this app like we used to be with Lexicalbook. And then they can focus on the updates. They can focus on making it as good as possible. And as good as possible? Yeah, that makes sense. And we can focus on the pedagogical use. And if we find something better, we can switch. Yeah. Yes, Lucia, Quizlet can be used. That's exactly what we're looking at today. How to use Quizlet to have a list of vocabulary, and they can use this in the CA2 writing. All right, so let's continue. A little bit more on theory still is the SAMR model, which is a model of technology adoption. And in this case, it's more of a technology update, right? Because we used to have already a technological item, an app, and then we're moving on to a separate app. And for those of you who are not familiar, basically the SAMR model stands for substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. And essentially, it's just a way for us to analyze how what technology can do instead of doing it in the physical sense, in the paper sense. One of the problems, if it's just a substitute, if you just do it, whatever you did in paper, you start doing in the computer. So that's substitution. You just have a functional change. You just have no functional change, sorry. You just have a medium change. So I think in the case of the Lexicalbook and many of the other vocabulary apps, this is the problem. You can create the flashcard, so you put sentence and definition, you put sentence and the example, or word and word class, well, any type of matching that is going to help you memorize the word. But there is no substitution there is no functional change over what we used to do with paper. Instead of having a piece of paper with 2 sides, you just have this in the computer in 2 columns, or in a card that you click and you switch sides. But that's substitution. Augmentation is when you start to add the functions that would be impossible. So categorization of items, you can create in Quizlet, create a number of lists, and these lists are categorized automatically. So you can have animals, you can have this, you can have that. So you can edit a card. So you have some functional changes, improvements actually. So it doesn't change the fundamental aspect of learning something. It just changes it just improves a little bit on the way you do it. When you start a modification, now you're looking at a different task design. So, for example, matching is a good way. So if you have one card that is like this, double-sided, it's impossible to separate it into 2 cards. Otherwise, you have to create these cards and play. And there is no automatic way for you to play and get okay, when I match, I put on a list that is correct. And when I match wrong, I put on a separate list. You have to do this on your own, or you need a teacher to do this. So this limits the application. And in the computer, you can do this automatically. The computer decides if you have done it correctly or wrong, which ones you have gotten wrong, and recreates the next set for you to study based on your performance. So the ones you're always getting right, they can appear less frequently. The ones that you gotten wrong, they appear more frequently. So this is starting to become modification. And redefinition is when we do something different, something that was completely impossible, completely unthought of with paper, and we start doing this with the technology. And live is in this category because live is basically a game, a competitive and collaborative game in which words from your list are going to be given to your groups, and you have to match them correctly. But if you make a mistake, you have to go back to square one. You lose all your points, and the group has to restart with the new words from the list. So it forces accuracy rather than speed. And if you're playing this communicating with your team, there is an element of communication, there is an element of collaboration, researching, and lots of other aspects, which would be just impossible to do with the paper. So this is the very shortened version of the SAMR model, and you can read more in this link. So this blue thingy here is a link. I'm going to send you the link to my presentation later. So all the links you see here are going to be clickable, and then you can study this to your heart's content. All right. Any questions so far? I see that some people have never used Quizlet, some people have used but want to brush up, want to learn something different. And all right. I think this covers the why we do this. So we can move on to why Quizlet specifically. So why we decided for this platform and not some other platform. And then we have a number of reasons, not only one specific reason, but because the flashcard is sort of the bulk, what many services offer. And we can label the images. This is something new and something that the other services don't offer. You get one image and then you start labeling, okay, this is the head, this is the eye, this is the mouth. And then students have to click on the correct places to learn vocabulary. So it's a very visual way to study. And apart from creating the flashcards, you have a lot of uses with the flashcard. You have a lot of activities that you can run as a teacher and as a student that you can tackle yourself, or as an individual student with the list, that you can use the lists with. So it's not simply the list, go and study the list, because this would be there would be no functional change. No, there are some activities that engage the learner with the list and giving feedback on what you're getting correct, what you're making a mistake with, how often you are getting it correct. So this is an important aspect of Quizlet. And for teachers, I think these 4 aspects are what you're going to love about Quizlet. If you want to associate a term, a word, a sentence with an image, you can search for the image, but you don't need to go to Google, search the image, download the image, upload the image in Quizlet. You just search in Quizlet and they have an image bank, which simplifies your searching process. I'm going to demonstrate this in a few minutes, but just know that this helps a lot with this because the images are curated, so there is no risk of getting potentially unsafe images there. So you don't need to download, upload. So it's a much faster process. There is the auto definition. I think especially for higher levels, this works very well. You put the word or the sentence, then you get the definition of the sentence automatically. And then you can edit. Maybe you say, no, this is a bit complicated, or this has too much, too little. I'm going to edit this to my liking, but at least a place to start. So instead of having you to create from scratch, it creates for you. The community is enormous. As of August this year, so at the beginning of the month, there were over 50 million sets on Quizlet in lots of different languages. But the main use of Quizlet is in teaching languages. So you're going to find a lot of things to learn: English, Spanish, Chinese, Portuguese. It's the bulk of the users is in language teaching. So we have a lot of assets there to get. And the artificial intelligence, which is something they added, I think, in the beginning of this year. Instead of simply getting, okay, you got it wrong, you get it right. And then next time you just show me a new set, and then I just show you the percentages of how often did you get this correct, how often did you get this wrong. Now they are using artificial intelligence to decide what is best for you at this point. Should I show you 7 new words? No. I'm going to show you maybe 3 that are new for you, 2 that you have made a few times, but you're still not sure. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong, and 1 or 2 that you are very familiar with, just to easen up on the repetition and to get retention up. And then it saves that, and then it does it again. So and it also learns from the community. So words that appeared in many lists, they know which of the words are difficult, which of the words are easier, so they know what to select at any given moment for you to memorize, which is much faster than what we as humans can do. So if you have to sort of switch the cards and say, okay, now learn this, 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 and that, and then 1 minute later, now this, 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 and that. This, for each student, this would be insane. This would be just impossible. So this is one of the great artificial intelligence applications in education, and that we have to start using and be at the forefront of this use here at Cultura Inglesa. And if you're still not satisfied, I have another list of why Quizlet is the best one for us to use right now. For people who go to Cultura In, to schools, that sometimes face problems with the lack of technology. So there is no internet in the room. The students cannot, because the school doesn't allow it, cannot use their smartphones. There is no smart board. I can only use my computer screen or a tablet screen or a phone screen, and then Quizlet is impossible. No, just print. I'm going to show you in a few minutes, but you can print your Quizlet lists as a glossary, as cards, or even as separate page cards, so that you can paste one side on the other and then use this for a physical game, so a physical game in paper. I think for young learners, this is an important characteristic. And for Cultura in these cases, when you're unsure of the internet, or when you're sure there is no internet, this is a good use. It's a freemium model. Nothing in this world is free, but nowadays we have this freemium, which means you can pay if you want, don't pay. So everybody, just write on the chat, I'm not paying, please. Okay, just make sure, don't pay. There is no need to pay. Most of the tools are available for free. All the tools that I am showing you are available for free. I have a paid account because of the ambassador program, but all the things that I'm demonstrating with you are free tools. Okay, so I'm not using any of the premium models, premium activities. So there would be more to go, but then I would have to convince you to pay. I don't want to convince you to pay. So we're sticking to the freemium model, the free model. It's okay, it's sufficient. We don't need to pay for this. And I'm not paying. Good, Renato, that's it. It's good enough. And students don't have to pay either. They are given the option to do so, but they don't have to. Good, because Leonardo is also not paying. So as we continue with the convincing, it integrates with our Google accounts. So pretty much all the adults are going to have Google accounts. Here in Bahia, they will start having as of next year. You all have your My Class accounts, which are Google accounts. So you can use these accounts to log in with Quizlet. So you don't need to remember an additional login, an additional password. You use the same. It's gamified. That's an important characteristic nowadays. So there are 3 games available we're going to play today. It's secure, so there has never been any breach with loss of user data or exposing user data. So, okay, Wesley is telling you to not pay. Fantastic. It's secure, so there's never been any breaches. Much like with the Google accounts, they're very secure. Their system is very robust. In terms of user experience, it's great. You see that it's simple. In one screen, you can find everything, and I'm going to show you in a few minutes. And it works on all platforms, literally all platforms. So if you have any type of computer, you open on Google Chrome, that's it. You can access it. So computer, check. Tablets and iPads, there is an app. Good. Don't want to download the app? Go to the website on Chrome, and that's okay. VPN is also not paying. Fantastic. On the cell phone, the same. Download the app, or don't download the app, go to the website, and it works. So as long as you have Chrome as your web browser, it's going to work. And you can use this pretty much with every equipment you have, and students can access this. The entry is very easy. And it's collaborative, which is an important tool nowadays to make sure that everybody works together instead of working against each other or just competing against each other, and they have to work individually. We already do a lot of individual things, and collaboration is an important 21st century skill. People need to learn to negotiate, people need to learn to work in groups, to manage other people, to handle differences in values, in perceptions, in personality, and Quizlet is a route towards this. I think you're convinced. I hope you're convinced, because if you aren't, I don't know what to do. No. All right. In the next minutes of this presentation, I'm going to show you how. I think that's an important part of the process, so learning how to do things. And we have a very limited amount of time, but the good thing about the internet is that everything is saved forever. So those first 5 minutes in which I was speaking and you were not listening, this is saved forever. Shame on me. But this means that, this also means that everything that I'm going to show you now is going to be recorded. So it's okay if you say, well, he said, but I can't find it. Well, I'll watch it again, and then I will find the buttons. I will find where to go, because it's gonna be there. Okay, it's the same. Silvia's not paying a penny. It's there. So just follow the video. If you're on a computer and you have a second equipment in which you want to test things, it's good. But for now, the important part is that be calm. Everything is recorded, and all the how-to videos are here in this video playlist. This is a playlist I created. Let me show it to you. That's not the one. Yeah, I think I'll click. So there is a list of videos. So how to play Quizlet Live, how you insert automatic definition. So pretty much everything that I'm going to show you and more are going to be here. Plus my presentation at the unconference this year. Very happy about this. And so don't worry, you have support. Okay, so we can go back. And if you're still needing help, if you still say, well, I'm still unsure how I can do this, or how I can apply this to my group, or I need some more help with Quizlet, you can click on this link and it redirects you to a calendar style page in which you can schedule a meeting with me. So we can talk one-to-one and clear any potential questions that you have and help you use. So how this works is very simple. You just click on a date. So Let's imagine that you are available at 11 because you have a group after lunch, so we can talk at 11, confirm. Then you put your name, email, anything that you say, well, please help me with this, this, and that, and schedule. If the time is available here, it means that the time is available on my calendar. So you don't even need to notify me. The system is going to notify me and insert this event in my calendar for us to talk. So we have 30-minute individual talk. I know this, sometimes there are some questions like, how do I do this? I have a small question, and we can solve this with a very quick one-to-one talk using Google Meet, which is the online teleconference app that we have. So as you can see, the 29 I'm not available, so it doesn't even show you as a possibility to click. But on the 30, I am available, so you can get sometimes here. And okay, so I hope this helps, and please make use of this. That's part of my job to help you. That's a part that is my job, to help you guys learn how to do stuff so that we can better serve our students. And if you need any help, get the help you need. So if it's an academic help, how to do something, how do I operate, what is the best way to do this, or I have an idea, I need to expand on this idea, just to schedule a talk, and we'll talk, okay? And Wesley added these links to our chat box here, so you can click later if you're on a phone. Remember, just click later. Let's see what Lucia says here. Being collaborative for me is one of the most important aspects of it. I agree, Lucia, because for individual learning, there are a number of platforms, a number of tools, a number of ways to do it. But to do this in a collaborative way so that everybody can access the same thing in an easy fashion, and that it promotes collaboration, promotes group work, it's hard. It's hard to develop this system. And it's important. It's an important 21st century skill, necessity. Okay, so now let's see the house. So to set up your account, pretty easy. I'm going to demonstrate here. If you have already an account, you don't need to do this. But if you don't, what you do is, you go to Quizlet. I'm using an incognito mode, uma janela anônima, because if I open it in my regular account, it's going to be there. So with my previous login. So I go to Quizlet.com, and you click on inscrever-se. I think in English is sign up or join, something like this. You don't need to fill this in now. You just click continuar com Google. And then you can use your My Class. So I'm going to use elearning@myclass.com.br, which we are just using this for training. Don't send messages to this address, please. It's just for training purposes, just for this type of situation. Próxima. And the password. I hope I remember the password. Yes, first try. Good. So now, for security purposes, it's going to ask you for your birth date. And I think it says here, é livre para todas as cidades, fornecer para cumprimento das leis locais. So it's and they use this if you need access to your account and something happens. So I'm going to put my birthday, because otherwise I'll never remember what date I put. And as you can see, my birthday is coming up. Just saying. Right? Just saying. Just leaving it out there. And let's see. Nome de usuário. I'm going to put e-learning CISP. And I'm a teacher. So in your case, right, makes sense. E-learning CISP. Let's put test. That's it. So you already have your login created. And of course, that is going to offer you to pay. And you already have your login created. It started on the guide. And now, every time you log in, you're going to be redirected to this page here. So Easy to create a login. So far, so good. Let's ask here the face-to-face people. Easy to create. Already have. So sorry.
I'm here, but I don't know what to do.
Oh, so you already have an account. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know what to do.
That's okay. Just click on Quizlet and you go back to the main page.
I have to create a class.
Yeah, no. Have you created the account? Okay, good. Good. So, all right. So if you're unsure where to go, click here at the logo and you're redirected to the main page. And if you have lists, they're going to be here. And then you hit this big button, create list, etc. I'm not going to teach you these lists, these pastas, turmas, etc. I don't think it's necessary for you to start with this. And the most important things are search. So instead of starting from scratch, let's search for a list. And I'm going to search for what is something that everybody uses here. Let's see, that students always need. I'm going to start with something simple, maybe past simple verbs, like irregular. I should have put irregular, right? Irregular. Let's try again. Irregular. And of course, the first ones are the paid ones, and then you start having access to the free lists, the user community created lists. So you have oh, this one looks good, like write wrote, eat ate, etc. Refugee one, ELT, etc. So you have a lot of lists here. I like this one. Just Jeff Shrews has a lot of lists, and there are some drawings, so I think I like this list. So I'm going to choose this list, irregular verb past simple. Click on the list. Okay, Lucia, schedule a quick talks with me. It's very easy to change, and I can show you how to do it. But you don't need to remember that actually, because you can log in always clicking on sign up with Google, sign in with Google. But just schedule a quick talk and I can help with that. So this is that person's list, Jeff Shrews, whoever this person is. So let me see if I like this list, right? Be, was, were, bear, bore. I think this is unnecessary for the students, quite complicated verb, not very common. Beat, okay, maybe this drawing is not very appropriate depending on the age. Begin, began, blue, blow, blue, etc. So always important whenever you are searching to see the pedagogical value of this and if there are no mistakes here. Like I wouldn't put can could because this is a modal. These are two different modals. They are not irregular past. So I feel this would be a grammatical mistake to include here. And so on. But you see that overall the list is good, right? Do you like the list? Yeah. But we have to adapt this list. To adapt a list, you go here, personalizar, the two squares. This creates a new list, like it copies the list that you were looking, but it becomes your personal list. So irregular verb past simple. So now I can just go and say bear bore. No, I don't need this. My students don't need this. Delete. The beat, I don't like this image. So I alter image. So let's search. Beat, oh God. Beating a horse. That's horrible. The beat, okay, beat generation, but that doesn't help. Yeah. Yeah, maybe this one, the food one, right? Beating the egg. I think it's better. Yeah. Rather than beating people up. That's a terrible image. And where is the can could? Oh, the can could. This is not past simple. Let's just delete. Okay, delete it. And the rest, and so on and so forth, right? I imagine that the other phrase of the other modals are going to be here as well. So we should just go like.
How can we change the image? I don't understand.
You click on the definition. So the question was, how do I change the image? So click on the definition, and then you can change the image. And speaking of these buttons, some of them are actually new. I don't remember this one being available. Oh yeah, this is the formatting. You can change colors. So let's just put this. Oh, but I have to upgrade. Okay. In order to change, you can put an asterisk around the word, and it's going to be bold, if I'm not mistaken. So you can change the image. And there is a recording button here, right? Don't use this. This is completely unnecessary because all the words automatically have a definition, have a pronunciation, and it understands that the word is in English, so it gives you the correct English pronunciation for the word. So there is no need for you to go ahead and add your own voice. That's a lot of work, by the way. And this is the auto definition. So I can say, no, I don't want auto definition. The community is silly. I don't want to see. Or no, please let the definitions there. I have some ideas. This might help me. So, okay, that's the list. It seems that the rest is in order, although there are lots and lots of items. And criar. If I want to add words, so maybe I want to add a bizarre a regular past that was not available, I can just come here and put like the irregular verb in the present, so that the verb goes here, and the past goes here. No, just there is no way to underline. It's just with the asterisks, they become bold. That's the highlighter. Okay. But well, this is just I don't need this one. Criar. And that's it. So once I create, I have the link, and there is an ominous button here. What do you think this does? Compartilhar no Google Classroom. So let's just click. Let's see what happens. Compartilhar no Google Classroom. I don't think this group is associated. Yeah, it's associated with a lot of practices. Good. Let's see Google Action Test. Yeah, this group is a learner. This student is a learner. So I don't think this is going to work. But as a teacher, once you pick your group, you can post. You can write your post here. Another way that you can share is copiar link, and you send this to your learners. So you copy the link. This is actually my favorite way. I copy the link, and now I go to Google Classroom, classroom.google.com. But let me use another account, like a real account. Let's put Ivan.cookie. Yes. So the question here was, not everybody has access to Google Classroom, and that's fine. You can copy the link, and you can use this in class with the link. So if you just open this on a regular web browser, it works. So you can tell learners to search, to type that. Or if you use email, or if you use Padlet, there are a number of other ways that you can share this with your students. So I'm going to demonstrate on Classroom because by this time next year, everybody's going to have access to this with all the adult learners. So this is just a temporary fix.
If we click in compartilhar no Google Classroom, it's go direct there?
No, you have an option to write. So when you click on Google Classroom, share on Classroom, it gives you some options. Like share as a material, share as an assignment. There is a number of options there. But I think the simplest way, the more controlled way, is copiar link, and then you do whatever you want with this link. And you can go to Classroom. So I'm going to go to Google in Action. And maybe I want to share this on the mural, on the stream, or maybe I want to send this as homework. So I can do something like this, create question. So Quizlet vocabulary, let's put homework. Quizlet vocabulary, Quizlet past simple. Go to this list, click on learn and study the items. What words are still difficult for you? Question mark. It's a homework, so no points, no topic, short answer, and I can put the link here as well. Link. I'm just going to use one person as a demonstration here. So the person is going to be myself, just so that nobody gets this. And ask. So as you can see, that's the assignment. Go to this list, click on learn, what words are difficult, and there you have it. So you can give this to your learners. And so Viviane is suggesting for teenagers use Padlet, or for groups that you don't have Google Classroom. So for everybody here, I'm going to demonstrate Padlet in a few minutes. Okay. Thank you, Viviane. Yes. Okay. So this was my list. So I'm going to go back to the beginning. And my list is now here. If I click on listas, I can see all the lists that I have created. So just one. And so we started from pesquisar and then we adapted one. Now I'm going to show you how to create one. So you click on criar, create, and then you put the title. So title goes here. And then you start using. So maybe I put a sentence, goes here. And then I want to focus on this, on goals. And then I put the definition of go here. Or an image of going, I don't know. Let's see, go. That wasn't very, yeah, go, this would be okay. And then you do this item 2, definition 2, item 3, definition 3, and infinitely. I can do this forever. And when I am satisfied, create. The same screen, so with the link, etc. So you see that the word that I put in with an asterisk, it becomes bold. So that's a good way to do this. And what can we do with the cards? Because just clicking, oh, sorry. Oh man, algo inesperado. Let's use this one. Because if I just have the cards and I just do this is substitution. I could do this in paper, like next card. Not fun. The good part is in aprender, because this is the artificial intelligence helping us. So it's going to show me in different ways how to work. So I can just go left. Let's make a mistake. Learn, studiesta, definition, this, disse, etc. You can click here for the audio, so it plays. I'm listening, but students can get the pronunciation, and so on. So they can study this. Another great one is soletrar, spell, because it's simple. Digite o que você ouviu. So it's a good way for them to listen and write. So they listen, shoot. I'm listening to this on my phone. So here, and then it go. And then let's make a mistake. So the word was let. So I'm going to put, lit. just to make a mistake. And then it forces me to do it again. And it's going to come back at the end of the round. Yes? You can use the way you want. I'm just using it in a simple way. Yes. Yes. So the question here was, can I use sentences? Yes, you should use sentences. I just got a simple one for us to use, but it's better if you have some context rather than individual words in the open. Mhm. Yes. Yes, Leonardo, you just have to change the language. Let me show you. So sometimes if the pronunciation is weird, just to go to your list, edit your list, it probably means that the language of the list is in Spanish or English or something. So I don't remember actually. Adicionar, galeria, inverter a posição. Yeah, I'll have to get back to you, Leonardo. I don't remember where it is. Huh. Shame on me. Is it here? Maybe? Personalizar, combinar, incorporar, no. Info, progresso, editar. Yeah, I'll have to get back to you. Give me a couple minutes and then I'll create a video on how to do this, okay? Because I don't really remember. I know it can be done. So if you need the link after you created the list, you just click here, compartilhar. It's the same screen. And one of the other games is Combinar, which is one of my personal favorites, the matching game. So you have to go and match. And when you make a mistake, it learns that I made the mistake. And then it's going to appear more frequently later on. And there is a leaderboard. So the more people play, so students sometimes they like to compete. So it's there. Not my favorite way of competition, but it's there. And if I play again, I get a different combination of words from the list. So this is an important way for them to study individually. And now we're going to play live. The final moments of this presentation. So we're going to create a game. And this is very, very tentative. Vamos jogar. So, okay. So if you are using this on a smartphone, don't join because you're going to be kicked out of the presentation. So just watch it for now. But if you are on a computer, you can open this on a separate link. And so go to Quizlet.live and insert this code, 797213. Another possibility is to just scan this with a QR code reader, and it takes you automatically to this page. You need 4 students or more to play this game. So considering we have 25 people online and I think 10, 12 people here face-to-face, we have sufficient people to play this game. So let's see how it goes. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to join in and let me see if it's working. Okay, so Reggie, Eduardo, Carmen.
Students use their device.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for my question.
Let me join from my phone as well so that I can show you. So open the browser, simple. Go to Quizlet.live, not Quizlet.com for this. So it asks me for the code. So the code is 797-213. Continue. Okay, people are deciding to join from the. Okay, great. What's your first name? Ivan, let's go. And waiting for teacher to start. So Ivan is here, is on the screen, and it's playing here. Let's see, we have 14 people. I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds maybe to join. 15, 16, fantastic, I'm very happy. And I'm going to start the game, okay? If a student you feel that should be removed from the game, you just click on their name, they are removed. So if they start using bad names, Quizlet blocks most of the bad names. I don't think people can join with a swear word. But if it happens, you just, okay, you're punished, just go out of the game and watch the others play. That's easy, an easy fix. So 30 seconds are up, let's play. So these are the games. So there are some people here, literally here, joined with people who are watching online, and that's okay, Wesley is here, I am here. Let's see, so Ana and Advan, let's go. Yeah, let's see, let's try to win. So the game is, this is how to create, no, it's the irregular verbs, right? So let's see what we learn. Iniciar. Cassia was disconnected. Well, please watch it later. Let's see. It should work. It should work. Good. Let's play. Everybody. So here in my screen, I have the game. And dream. Somebody answered because it was not on my screen. Told. It's not on my screen, so there is nothing for me to do. Someone from my team has to answer this question. If I answer it incorrectly, I'm going to send the score back to 0. I don't want to do that. My team is going to be very angry with me. I think Nadjivan is even here. So I'm not going to do this to him. Yet. I'm going to do this when we are like 7 points, and then I'll just 0 our score. Okay, Nadjivan got it right. So fought. No, it's still not here. As you can see, the sea dragons and the camels are there. Camels with 6 points. Oh, drank? Okay, now I have drink. I'm sorry. Build. Yeah, okay. Camels are probably going to win, right? Yeah, fantastic. Somebody please make a mistake just so that we can see the score going back to 0. I'm gonna make a mistake, guys, here. Shoot. I made a mistake, sorry. Oh, they won. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. So this team won. Congratulations, Flavia, Leon, and Carmen. But you see, the game finished, but the learning, part of the learning comes now. Because you can go to statistics and you are going to start looking at what students made a mistake. Because this was a teacher group, so everybody got everything correct. Or I made one mistake on purpose, but this is going to show you what students made a mistake. So you can have what they answered, and then it starts showing o que nós não sabemos, o que nós aprendemos, I think that's the terminology. So you can use this